What's going down, my peoples? What's going down? It's your man Kris B back again with another one. Today I figured I'd talk about uh some of the cameos that your boy has been on. You know, I've been on these YouTube streets, and sometimes that's what you gotta do. You gotta get out there, you gotta put yourself out there. But one of the brothers in particular that gives regular guys like me a platform to talk on the regular is my boy Kwame Brown. Now, personally, I don't know Kwame Brown and he doesn't know me, but I've been on his platform a few times, you know, to talk about things. And I think he's one of the brothers out there that's doing a real good thing in by, you know, bringing people together and having dialogue. Now, he definitely has his beef show, you know. He got the Kwame Brown beef where, you know, and the roasting thing, where they come together and roast each other, and that's more for the roasting and doing that thing. But other times he has opened up his platform to where you can have a civilized dialogue about the issues of the day. And you know, once again, I was grateful to your boy for letting me come on his panel a few times, and this is one of them. But I brought it to you because I wanted y'all to see for yourself, contrary to other beliefs, that black men and women can come together and have a civilized conversation even when is they don't agree. And I wanted y'all to see that firsthand. Here we go.
Go ahead, Pastor.
Okay, excuse me for that interruption. So as I was saying, Mr. Brown, they are not acting like effective leaders across the board. And it's just a case of ignorance.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't give y'all context of what the conversation was about. Now, Kwame Brown had on his panel this particular pastor, I believe Pastor Williams, is from Dolton, Illinois. And of course, to anybody that's not under a rock in 2024 knows about Dolton, Illinois, and the problems that's going on with the mayor, Tiffany Henard. Now, we're all from the outside looking in, and this pastor guy, he actually lives in the town of Dolton. So his opinion was probably going to be a little different about Tiffany Henard as everybody else was. But nonetheless, he had his own opinion about her. But nonetheless, we had a conversation about this, and I wanted y'all to check it out.
On perhaps on both sides, but as it relates to this young woman's personality, I've always known Mayor Henard to be a decent person. And so all these allegations that are being levied against her, certain things are in court now. You know, they tried to remove her from office. They failed that. Every time they take it to court, they lose. But at the same time, the village of Dolton is losing because they're spending the taxpayers' monies to fight all these legal battles. Now, what about that? The opposition has spent a lot of money taking her to court. Now, they're not paying for it. The village attorney has to, they had to defend them as well, because the village attorney works at the bequest of the mayor and the trustees. So the town is losing a lot of money in just legal fields. I mean, it's one fiasco after another. But my thing is that these people across the board are not civil in their thinking, and you can't operate government like that. There's a lot of unintelligible things going on. Shouldn't be taking place.
Good morning to everybody. Good morning, KB.
What's up, bro?
Don't speak. Nothing much. How you doing, Pastor?
Hey, good morning.
I have a quick question in regards to, because I've been paying attention to what's been going on out there, like through multiple sources, and I had a question in regards to like when you said that there was no proof that was stated against the claims towards her. How about when the Las Vegas trip, where they showed everything that she had spent on the township's dollar?
Now we know about Las Vegas and why she was like, No comment. Now we know about Las Vegas. We know about the allegations of sexual assault and I don't know, and a possible cover up. Now we know why she didn't really want to talk about that Las Vegas trip. But let's continue.
That was not approved. However, they was able to pull up that evidence, and it was showing that she spent $300 at a certain steakhouse. She spent a certain amount of money at a Hard Rock restaurant. Even had the hat sitting on her desk during the township town hall meeting. It's kind of like a rub it in your face type thing. How could you say that there's no proof about the things that she's doing when there was obvious proof right there?
Well, my response to that is that it's my understanding that she attended a conference with some staffers. Now, that's all I can give insight to. But I will say this is that elected officials are noted to spending taxpayers' money when they go on legitimate approved trips. And my understanding is that this was regarding a conference because this was not the duty of the town of mayor of Dolton, Dolton rather, but this is the township. That's a different entity.
Yeah, different. Yeah, I understand that, sir. Yeah, her being the mayor of Dolton and the supervisor in Thornton. I understand that, sir. However, like I said, I mean, stating that there's no evidence towards these claims is kind of that's not true, sir. There's a lot on the table, especially WGN would not be covering her the way that they have been, especially when it came to the billboards, knowing that she cannot use taxpayers' dollars in order to campaign herself, and using things such as the snow removal program where she still had her face on it, just so that she could still campaign herself. I think, sir, like what you're saying is respectfully, sir, it's just there's concrete evidence of what's going on, and it's making a lot of noise around the country.
I was.
Now it goes to show you the progressive mindset or the liberal mindset. It's like they see something right in their face, but they don't believe it. And it's bad. But because he knows her personally, it makes it different because he likes her. So whether she's robbing the citizens blind or not, because she's black and because he knows her, he's going to give her a pass.
Say this, everybody has the right to their own personal opinion, but everybody is allowed due process, whether you like them or not. Tiffany Henard is not under any type of state or federal investigation, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But I can say this: I've watched her since she's been in public service, serve people. This is a young black woman who has inherited some great power, and I see a lot of ignorance and jealousy towards her. Black folk can't be fighting each other like this. Black folks started this insurrection against her, not white folk, man. When we talk about the southern suburbs, man, it is rich with opportunity. And so, Brother Brown, you need to know this thing is about power and money, and Tiffany is in the way of a lot of people's ambitions. That's the bottom line.
Okay, it's not about.
But on a lighter note, though, that guy right there, he looks real good. That guy looks real good. Real handsome gent. Real handsome fella. Don't you think? Let's continue.
Me liking her or not, sir. I'm just going by everything that has been because we all talk about accountability, right? And we talk about the due process. So there's been an astronomical amount of evidence towards her when it came to just misusing the funds. I mean, hell, even taxing the people on different parking tickets just to try to reclaim some of that money back that was spent. On top of the police officer that had been on duty for over 200 some odd hours in a 2-week pay period. And then on top of that, that officer is going out with her to different, her security detail, quote unquote, is going out of state with her and to all these other places. I don't think that that's needed. Me personally, I mean, in regards to if it's just a mayor and a supervisor of a town I mean, I can understand having your assistant, maybe a person or two, but when she has a whole security detail with her to accompany her towards with these trips, I think on the taxpayers' dollars, I just think that that is unacceptable. Me personally, I'll go on mute.
Well, I understand your concerns, but my biggest concern is that you got Black elected officials violating each other. I mean, the word violence means to violate.
Now, see, that's what he keep going back to. He keep going back to race. Like, because she's Black, she get a pass. And see, that's the problem right there. In a lot of these towns where Black people run it, because they are Black, they can do no wrong. But sometimes those are the worst ones doing it because they are Black, and they can get away with it in Black neighborhoods and Black areas. And this is a major problem. For those that talk about white supremacy and this and that and the other, these people that run this whole area are Black. So unless it's some puppet master back there running the strings and pulling the strings, rather, these people are Black that are doing this. And why can't they be held accountable? The taxpayers, they want to know that their money is being well spent. And, you get people like this with blind loyalty. That's what clouds the political system where you can't see what these people really do.
And I see a lot of violation. Understand, Tiffany's life was threatened because of an incident with the police. And you had people threatening to kill this woman. I mean, to kill her. Now, here's a young mother with a child, and people are threatening to kill her. To kill her. I mean,
all the classic things, the victim card, people trying to kill her, single Black female, single Black mother, all the things that they use, the propaganda that they use on our Black people. It's sad to see sometimes, but this is the result. This is what the result of that is.
Who wants to live like this with security when you are threatening your elected officials? Come on, let's be real. So I think everybody needs to back up and move towards a level of civility. I mean, people need to be civil right now because we're hurting the Black community tremendously with this type of attitude. And then on the other side, the opposition, I look at those mean-spirited trustees in Dolton. And of course, I had to say that mean-spirited. Why are you mean-spirited? That spills over to the people. We need to be healthy right now. As sick as this country is, I'm living in a community of political sickness and political madness. It shouldn't be. And so, to continue to persecute Miss Henard, that's not necessary. She's innocent until proven guilty.
Pastor, I got a question, not to interrupt. Why do you call it a persecution?
Bro Brown, I've been around for 60.
Yeah. No, I like how Kwame had to step in. He had enough of that one. He had to step in and say, why, man? Why are you calling it persecution? You robbing the people blind, but you being persecuted. I'm glad Kwame had to come in and step in on that. My man automatically went, Brother Brown. Oh, Brother Brown. Yeah.
9 years now. And I've seen a lot of things, but I've never seen an elected official take this type of barrage and beating. Here's a young woman, and I mean, when I see it, she works. She has no problem.
Let me ask you this,
door to door. And so, I mean,
I understand that she works, but when you say beating, I saw another black woman who was a trustee, who is a black woman who just was respectfully saying, you're not giving us the due process that you said you were going to give. She said, respectfully, you did something that a young 19-year-old would do in this car. And then Ms. Henard yelled back and said, state the facts. And she said, okay, you want to hear the facts? She said, your name is on this Escalade. You signed for it. It's $150,000 lease. And it doesn't make sense. And so is that an attack for holding her accountable through another black woman who is doing her job, not attacking anybody? It's her job as a trustee to make sure that she take care of taxpayers and the constituents' money. Is that not true?
Well, the bottom line is, I don't know the great details on that, Mr. Brown, to be commenting. I'm concerned about everything that's being said, but as a citizen of Dolton, and community and residents of Dolton have said, you all need to be civil on both sides. I mean, I fire Miss Wet you one day, you fire Miss Wet me one day. And so, okay. but who's suffering? The residents are suffering because of this insanity.
Well, Evo, let me ask a question real quick.
Okay, I'm not done.
So, Pastor, first of all, it takes a lot of courage to come up here and speak, and I appreciate you for doing that, man. And
for real, thank you, sir.
For doing the service of the Lord as well, too. So, thank you for that. But I do want to ask a question to you, because I'm hearing you. You know, you mentioned the words persecute, and we've seen this thing play out nationally with her. But two questions I'm going to ask you. The first is, do you think this mayor has made some missteps, and would you be willing to share what mistakes you think she's made? And then the second question would be, is the fact that she's black means that she can't be held accountable, in your opinion? So I'll go on mute for that.
Yes, I believe she's made some mistakes. Probably in the early stage, hiring, having the type of personnel that could have had the wisdom and insight to help her avoid a lot of this controversial, the controversial that's going on. What was that second question you asked me again?
The second question I asked was, because you mentioned the fact that we're black people, we continue to shoot missiles at each other. But the bottom line is, she is an elected official. So I don't understand, and maybe you can shed light on me. Obviously, we don't want to do damage to each other. But if one of us commits a fault, I think it's our responsibility and your responsibility as a constituent to her to hold her accountable, regardless if she's black or not. So do you disagree with that? Or why is it the fact that she's black, meaning that she deserves some type of protection from the criticism, some justifiable, that she's been getting, in my opinion? But go ahead.
Regardless if you're black or white, when you're an elected official, you're supposed to be a public servant. And so your responsibility is to the citizens. And so there has to be accountability and transparency as it relates to the position that you serve, that you serve. So being black cannot be an excuse. But the thing about this is that in this area where I live at, in the southern suburbs, the majority of the elected officials are black. And the thing is, what I loved about Tiffany is that she came with a progressive agenda, block by block program. That was blocked by the trustees. Being able to provide grant monies to,
and it goes to highlight too, of that word progressive, or how they use wordplay to make progressive sound good. Progressive. She come in with a progressive things. Like that means good. It sounds good to the people. The average listening person, that sounds good. You know, that's progressive. We're gonna do things progressive. It sounds pleasant to the ears, you know what I'm saying? But really, the policy do damage to you.
Do seniors that needed roofing, seniors that needed windows, those type of things were blocked by the opposition. See, in understanding politics, there's time when you have to compromise. Nobody can have it both ways, and I just think there has been a maturity, perhaps on both sides, but it's time to move forward. We're in some serious times. We're in some challenging times. There's an election coming up. There's a madman out there. Black folk got to ask themselves where they stand in this country. My citizenship.
If I can ask a question, oh, go ahead,
Oh,
KB.
that's one thing before we go off the rails and start talking about the president. Y'all joking. I'm funny as hell. That made me forget my dang no question. Dang, I had a question with Miss Henard because you said, shoot, what did you say? I was trying to let you finish. Go ahead, it'll come to me. Yeah, go ahead and ask your question. It'll come to me.
I'm sorry, KB, because like, Pastor, with all due respect, brother, I think a lot of people have led us down a bad road for a lot of years with that type of thinking. When we say, "Oh, there's a madman out there," so what option is the better option for us? You're talking about the same person who's been in office for 48 years, the same man who helped pass a crime bill. Are you talking about the same man who actually was called a racist by his vice president before she decided that she wanted to say he's not a racist anymore?
Hold on, I got it. Let's not get
okay. All right, KB, go ahead. Let me go off camera, bro.
Man, y'all need to let me respond to that.
I got it, Pastor. I got it. Could it be the reason why they didn't pass some of those bills? Because when I was watching the trustees, the reason why you can't spend money that you don't have. If you're $7 million in debt, you can't run around and have these parties and have these security detail, and then you try to hurry up and put in a few good things. And then when they realize you don't have the money to do it, allegedly you guys don't even have money for police cars. So when you don't have the money to do it, what can you do?
Well, the thing is, like I told you earlier, Bud Brown, she just got back on the village bank account. They had taken her off the bank account. And so, I mean, the whole thing is, Brother Brown, this even shouldn't be going on. This is silliness at its finest, man. And
it's really not. It really shouldn't be labeled as silliness, because what it is it's taxpayers' dollars.
Correct.
And if taxpayers' dollars, if the citizens, I saw black and white people in line saying that we didn't get a chance to speak our grievances toward our mayor. That you just said earlier that she's supposed to be a public servant. Well, the people have spoken. The people, I can show you the video on the news clip, and I don't know how you're going to smooth this one over, but these are also citizens of Dolton. And these are people saying they were led to a basement, lied to basically, and then a 4-minute meeting was held, and then she left. If she's not going to answer the questions of the people, that is her job. So it's not an attack. It's not anything else other than, and it's not about her being black. Those things are just things people say to make you miss the bigger point. The job that's supposed to be done is a servant of the people. And if the people are not getting those services, then the people should speak. And it's not whether she's a good person. It's not whether she's a likable person. She could be all those things, but she probably is not a good mayor if she's not doing the will of the people.
And Mr. Brown, I hear you loud and clear, but I see this young lady in the community working tirelessly every day. You could even stand their position. But I would.
I don't mean to cut you off, but when you say opposition, are you saying the Dolton citizens are her opposition? Because I was talking about
no,
citizens of Dolton.
No. What the bottom line is that her opposition has commitments from citizens who follow them. But
I'm saying that these people were there at a town hall. We can all make assumptions on why they were there, but if they have an open town hall meeting that's open to the public, I can go into my city and go to that town hall meeting and they will hear my grievance out. I'll get a certain amount of time to say whatever my problem is, and then they hear me out, and then I can leave. That's my right as a citizen. And what they were saying is that their rights were taken away. She did not stay around to talk to them. So are you saying that her opposition is the people of Dolton now because they want to talk to her? Because I don't get it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the opposition mean her political foes. They have citizens that support him, support them, and they come to meetings to disturb meetings. I've seen it with my own eyes. So I mean, how can you resolve anything when you can't?
To be perfectly honest, y'all, I was sitting there on this panel listening to this guy, and I was like, come on. I really was. I was like, come on, brother. Come on, brother. So I just waited. I waited patiently. Your boy get to speak, but I waited patiently.
And sit down and negotiate. And the bottom line is it is uncivil behavior, brother. It is uncivil behavior. The word, what is the civility is a key word. It's a key thing. It's a key component. We need civility right now in these times. It's about lack of civility and respect on both sides. So as a resident, I'm appalled because you all should be more intelligent. We elected you to serve us. So how can I have my life living in pursuit of happiness with all this insanity going on? So as a citizen, I'm speaking out. They need to they need what they really need, Brother Brown. They need a moderator. They need to bring somebody in to negotiate with them. They need to negotiate. They really do. So that the town can move forward and we can be healthy.
So basically you're saying that the citizens that are complaining, everybody who went there to the courthouse or the town hall meeting that were led to the basement, all of those people are with the opposition. And there's just this conspiracy against her. The trustees are blocking good things for the city, but they're allowing her to spend $150,000 on a truck and security detail. But all of those things are other people's fault, none of which is her fault, correct?
That's not what I'm saying. No citizen should be locked out of any meeting. I don't know the circumstances behind why that happened.
It should never happen. Let me be a reason. It's a public building.
But see, here's what's happening. So let's talk about public safety. If you're holding a public meeting and citizens come and begin to become violent towards you, then what do you do? How do you dismantle that? I mean, what's the issue of conflict? How you do? So I know the bottom line is I've been to somebody. I don't even go to the meetings anymore because of the uncivil behavior on both sides. The uncivil behavior. They need someone to come in here to negotiate. They need a negotiator to come in here to deal with this. But I tell you what can happen, Brown, if they keep this nonsense up on both sides, the governor can put a town in receivership. Any governor, when he sees that a town is in disarray, can put the town in receivership. And guess what? Nobody won't be running nothing. They'll have people running the water department and public works, but they won't need the lawmakers because the town will be in receivership. And if this nonsense continues, somebody might think, let's put the town in receivership. That can happen.
So if you don't let Tiffany Henard keep running things into the ground, they're going to take the whole town away from us on the other side. Basically, that's what he's saying. Vote blue no matter who.
I think that highlights the bigger issue that's going on across the country of these elected officials that's in office that's not doing the will of the people. You
Oh,
know, we always use a straw man or a boogeyman sometimes to cover up some of the things. Are we perfect? No. But when you get in political office and you're dealing with taxpayer money, uh, things have to be accountable. And I don't think that in enough cities in our country, uh, elected officials are doing the work of the people. I think they get into office, and a lot of them will tell you. They'll tell you once they get into office, uh, they forget about the people. A lot of them people that go to Washington, they work that get the protection. They get protection, like some congressmen get protection, some don't. And the ones that get protection, they could care less about the people that they represent. A lot of them people don't even live in the district. They got one home in the district. They got a home in the district, but they don't even live in that district. And it's crazy. It's
But
like, if you do a lot of the research on these people, you'll find out that they're more crooked than the people that they claim that they're fighting against.
but
And it's a big problem.
but the fault lies on the citizens. We don't demand. See, we vote somebody in, and let's face it, people trying to survive, man. I'm trying to pay my gas bill, my light bill. I elected this man, I elected this woman. I hope they would have my best interest. Well, guess what?
I think I got him going. I think I got him going, y'all, after this one. I think the panel got a little juicy after this one. But I think I got him going. Let's continue.
They don't. And here's what happened with black. This is where I'm at. Let me say this. Thank you, Brother Brown. Let me say this. Look, man. I made up my mind that I'm concerned about the survival of black folks in America right now. Our citizenship, our ancestors fought for us, man. For us to be citizens. Because there was a time in an American apartheid, I couldn't vote, I couldn't do anything. My citizenship card is very important to me. As a matter of fact, I got dual citizenship, the heaven and earth. But I'm concerned about black folks understanding the power of our citizenship. Elected officials work for you. You don't work for them. Tiffany works for me. I don't work for her. I'm concerned about what's happening to my time. We've got to use the power of our citizenship to continue to move the needle forth. Because guess what? Guess what? If something happens in this country, they coming at us first, baby. So we better, once again, how can I have my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness with all this violence going on? How can I have my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness when somebody jacking?
Who's coming after you, brother?
Huh?
Who's coming after you? Who's gonna come after us?
Bottom line is, look, brother. I look at history. You have to look at history. He got to look at history.
The boogeyman.
No,
the
boogeyman. Ain't no boogeyman. I'm a realist and pragmatic and historical and try to be historically sound.
They've been telling us that lie.
We are a republic. When you begin to see crack,
you see, they've been telling us that lie for a minute. They're gonna come and get us. They're gonna ship you away. They're gonna lock you in chains. They're gonna do this. We've heard everything under the sun, y'all. Think about what you've heard in the last 20 to 30 years about what they gonna do, what they are going to do. The boogeyman, if you don't vote Democrat.
In your republic, you as a citizen must respond. We the people. Now, the bottom line is we are in a historical watershed moment. We got to stand up, black folk, and be shown enough citizens. We got to push the needle. We can't sit back and continue to lose our civil liberties. We can't go out like that.
So I got a question. Who's
constitutionally sound too, y'all?
Who's going to take our civil liberties from us?
There are always those out there who would like to take your civil liberties. You always have dictators out there. Trump said, if I come back, baby, I take him at his word because I understand history. And so if we lose our citizenship card, baby, that ain't nice. Our ancestors couldn't vote, man.
So if we don't vote for Joe Biden come 2024, we're gonna lose our citizenship.
Now let me say this about Biden. I'm clear on the type of animal he is, But remember, when he passed that Clinton crime bill, he said, I couldn't have done it without the help of the Black Caucus, because they did help him. So we clear on what Joe is. My concern, brothers, is the survival of Black folks in America, particularly American descendants of slavery. And despite your economic status, baby, they don't care. You look at the elitist Jews came to Hitler and said, hey, Hitler, I know you ain't gonna bother us. And soon
Pastor, we can't use that language up there.
Cut him off again.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
Pastor.
I don't think brothers is believing the hype on that Trump is bad anymore. I think you know what I'm saying, a lot of the brothers ain't believing the hype on the Trump is bad
all
thing.
Of them bad.
You know what
All
I'm
of
saying?
them bad. I ain't depending
Or the boogeyman.
I ain't depending on
I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. I'm gonna holler at you, bro. I gotta pick up my son.
Salute, TJ. But I just wanted to say, because you know, I actually hear what you're saying. You're saying all of them bad, but you keep mentioning Trump. Trump never passed any legislation before 2016 where Joe Biden had been in office since 1972. So if we're talking about facts, we're talking about stats here, we're talking about a systematic problem with Blacks continually to vote.
He meant to say he didn't pass any legislation that hurt Black people. Please, 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 please. If you think otherwise, point to a piece of legislation that was passed under the Trump administration that was specifically aimed to target Black folks in a negative way. I'll wait.
For the Democrat Party. Now, hold on. That's not me saying we should vote with Republicans, but we get led down a bad road.
And that's another thing, too, that I can't understand. You know, Trump had to go through the Republican Party to win the nomination. But just because you are a Trump supporter, which I am a Trump supporter, that don't mean I support the Republican Party. No way. Because at the establishment, them rhinos and them never Trumpers and them snakes in the grass, they're worse than Democrats because they smile in Trump's face and then stab him in the back the whole time. At least the Democrats are straight up that they don't like Trump.
By saying, I know this person, so I'm going to support them. And I'm hearing you, if I'm hearing you correctly, that's what you're saying about your mayor, is because you know her, then therefore she must be okay. But there are a lot of other people who know her and have problems with her. And if we continue to do that as a voting base, our votes won't matter. I'd love to hear what you got to say about. I would love to hear what you have to say about because you're talking about us, our votes not mattering, us being replaced. What do you think about all of these cities?
Illegal immigrants.
Illegal immigrants. I'm about to say, yeah, we done in one generation. We're gonna have one generation of babies. We done. Our vote is null and void.
So what do you think about these cities that don't have a Donald Trump, that don't have a Republican mayor, that are now giving money to people who come over here that didn't earn the same citizenship my great grandparents earned? So what do you think about that? Because
now listen to his response on this one, y'all. You know, it really gives you an insight onto what these older Democrats think. You know what I'm saying? I'm old my goddamn self. So don't let me fully get with the pretty face. But I'm old as dirt. But for our older Black Americans, like my mother and those of her ilk and older, they usually tend to be staunch, heavy in the trenches Democrat. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying it ain't no free thinkers, older Black folks, but for the most part, they're stuck in their ways on that Democrat Party. Well, listen to the excuse he made.
It's the people that you're saying that we shouldn't be afraid of that's allowing that.
I call it social engineering, babe. That's what's going on. I talk to a lot of young brothers and sisters from Central America. They say, you know, because I pastor a predominantly white church, Black folks, so I've been on both sides. So I open up the church for them to have a forum because they were afraid to go downtown because of ICE. So the community is like 50-40 Hispanic and white, right? And they say, look, let me tell you something, man. We left out of there because it's too violent down there. It's too violent. I mean, I'm talking to these young guys. I'm understand. MS-13 will come and wipe your whole block out, man.
They do that in America right now too, because we have open borders.
Oh yeah, but here's what's happening, man.
Oh, but real quick, I can speak on that personally because I know a young man who had his hand cut off and he was murdered by MS-13 gang members up there in Virginia.
Yeah.
And this is a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but look here. You saw, was that El Salvador or Salvador?
Got off VA, baby.
Where the gang took over the TV station, man, because the chieftain was locked up.
But how does that benefit black people? Because you're talking about we need to do things for black people. How does that benefit us?
Well, the bottom line is that what we better circle the wagon and look out for us. That's what we better do. And the thing with Biden, the Democratic convention is coming to Chicago, baby.
So basically, baby, ignore illegal immigration, black people. That don't concern you. We just got to huddle up together and weather the storm of being invaded. That's basically what they're telling the Democrat constituents. Just deal with it, basically.
And the thing is that you got to start leveraging them right now. My thing is, guess what? I want my reparations, baby. Look at ain't no debate.
I noticed the Democratic convention coming to Chicago, and that little thing that you guys have that detect the guns and the gunshots. I noticed y'all getting rid of that, but y'all waiting till after the Democratic convention. Why is that?
They bringing it back.
I want to see how that go down because them brothers and sisters in Chicago is upset. So you know they're gonna have security extra tight because them brothers and sisters ready to turn up about this illegal immigration thing. See, like I said before, you know, a lot of people forget in the sanctuary city era, a lot of these people were bucking the federal law and going and creating these sanctuary cities. So, but what they was doing was flooding these Republican districts with illegal immigration. So somebody in the Republican Party got smart and decided, okay, y'all want to do this to us? We're gonna ship these illegals to y'all sanctuary cities, and that's what started to happen. And now all the problems came to the Democrat doorstep, and now it's an issue. Now they want to do something about the border, but you voted for this. I didn't. You did. You voted for illegal immigration, and these are the ramifications of it. Me personally, I think this is just their replacement plan for the race war that they was trying to create over the years. It's safe to say that they historically failed on their race war attempts. So this is the new war that they're gonna perpetrate. Just flood America with everybody that hate America. Let's cause chaos.
They gonna bring it back?
No, they extended the contract.
They fighting against them. I heard in the news the other day. They fighting against it. He hadn't decided to bring it back. He said he's gonna get rid of it after the Democratic.
The news announced that they're going to bring it back. That they extended the contract.
Okay.
Yeah. But hey, I just tell you, man, I love you all, and I want to thank you for this opportunity and thank you for your leadership, brothers. And Brother Brown, love you and respect you, man. You guys are what we need, man. And let's continue to encourage our people to live, Brother Brown. We got to encourage our people, man. Well, if we just get, the tipping point is getting the third, and we got to be conscious of where we at right now, man. And my thing is, man, I was raised to love my people. That will never change, man. And if you Google me up, you go say, that's an interesting fella right there.
Pastor, I was raised to love my people too. Yeah. But I was taught that love is the truth.
Yeah.
The truth is love. And so I love my people enough to tell them the truth.
Tell them the truth.
Right.
Tell them the truth.
Sometimes I'm at odds with my own people because a lot of people don't like to hear the truth. And me, whether I know you, whether I like you, whether you're my cousin, my brother, that's not going to stop me from telling you the truth. I don't view truth as disrespectful. I don't understand it in that way. So I don't mind telling someone the truth, not your truth or my truth, but the truth.
Yes, sir.
And the truth
man,
is
Anytime y'all come my way, Brother Brown, any of you brothers, look me up, man.
I will do.
Appreciate that,
man.
Thank you, Pastor.
God bless you.
definitely.
Oh yeah, respectfully, sir.
But yeah, man, we gotta stop doing that as people. We don't like to tell the truth. And you was onto something, Mel. Based on his knowing her, based on her being a black woman, all of those things were reasons that he can't see the truth. And the truth of the matter is, it was another black woman. If we're going to use the black woman card, then another black woman called her out on the things that she was doing. And her name was actually on the truck. So all that gaslighting and virtue signaling I'm hearing, it doesn't really work for me. The truth of the matter is, if a black person, white person, whoever it is, if you're doing something that's wrong, you got to be called out on that wrong. And that's point blank, period. And what I heard from him is a lot of the excuses, in my opinion.
And I'll just say this, you know,
Now the brother Mel right here, he damn sure a smart brother, man. Definitely, man. I was definitely appreciative of being on this panel. My brother Mel was damn sure spitting some flames and asking some serious questions to the pastor. It definitely was cool. Definitely, you know, I definitely like this panel. You know, it was definitely a good conversation, you know, even though everybody didn't agree, but it was definitely a good conversation. And I think, you know, shout out to Kwame Brown. This one is on Bus Life 2.0. I'll definitely put the link and just in the description. But I think it just goes to highlight that we as Black people can have civilized conversations. We can have those conversations, y'all, whether they choose to tell you that or not. You know, I don't think, if some of y'all don't know it, yes, we can, and this is proof of that.
And that's a problem that we have a lot in our community when we elect officials, unless they're Black conservatives or Black Republicans, but they get a following that is a sick